Welcome back to the podcast. How we getting on, everybody?
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey, sup?
Hello.
Joined by two guys today. How you guys doing?
Hey, we're good.
We're
Well,
doing
I,
good.
I shouldn't speak for Nathan. I'm good. Sorry.
It's been a good day. I mean, we had a little bit of a crazy past week, but today's looking up.
Well, what's been crazy? What's going on?
Drunk driver in my hometown took out a building that was almost 200 years old, contained one of the most beloved restaurants.
Classy.
Literally crashed through the lobby. The entire 3 stories above it came down. It was.
That sucks.
I don't understand why we still have a problem with drunk drivers in America. It is ridiculous.
Well, we've talked about this a bit. I think it's because of your drinking age.
Yeah,
To be
I
honest,
agree with that.
and
Ronald
it's set
Reagan
up
raised
high.
at 21 to try stop drunk drivers. Well, that didn't work.
I mean,
yeah.
it's introduced way too late for you guys. And I mean, I don't want to put anything on you. Maybe you have drink before you're 21, but you know, I see you guys smiling, which implies that it's true. But hey,
Well,
I don't want you guys
I
incriminating yourself on on a podcast. You know, that's the worst way to go to jail. You're the guy who like fucking murdered 6 people. Like, why'd you go? I said I drank before 21 on a podcast with 2 Irish guys.
Well, to be fair, it was legal because I actually managed to take a trip to Europe where the drinking age was much lower. And just for the fun of it, when I found out the McDonald's sold beer, I ordered a kid's Happy Meal with a beer because I thought that was hilarious.
Would you like to know Ireland's drinking age? You're really going to like this.
It's when you
Go
can
for
reach
it.
the counter.
5.
5. Is it literally legitimately 5? Or
Yeah.
It's 5. Thomas pulled up.
Nice.
So, you know, some people been on the sauce since they were about 5. Me, I started a year early. I was 4. First
Wow.
word I ever said to my parents was pint.
What a rebel.
No. Yeah, it's allowed, but it is never done. I've never heard of it being done ever. It's
Well,
kind
Jared,
of-
let me introduce you to myself now.
It's kind of a thing like you give your kid maybe like Bailey's in their ice cream when they're like at Christmas or something, or when you're like 15 at Christmas dinner, you could have a glass of wine or half a glass of wine, kind of like that. It's to have freedom for parenting,
Yeah, the
because this only
normalization.
counts within your home or private premises. So this is not when you go to a pub. Like I can't be 5 going to a pub.
That
This is for parents to teach
is probably a good plan.
drinking.
It really should be up to the parents to be instilling those limits and those understandings. Because
Yeah,
if you just hide it from kids until they suddenly turn 18 or 21, it's just they kind of go a little bit crazy with
Yeah.
it.
21's
Yeah, much
crazy.
like anything, right? I mean, the normalization of alcohol in Europe is definitely one of the reasons why that region of the world has one of the lowest percentages of people who abuse alcohol.
It's because it's in a controlled setting. It's because
Right.
it is. It's because parents, especially I know for myself, my parents played a huge part of me started drinking. I remember it was my 7th birthday, right? And no, I'm messing. I used to have a little thing of they used to put a little bit of Bailey's in my ice cream on Christmas, you know, with my
Nice.
I got Ben and Jerry's ice cream every Christmas, and then I got a little Bailey's in there, so that was pretty cool. And then before my debs, me and my dad said we'd have who could drink each other under the table, and well now he's afraid to look at me in the eye, but that's what you get when you pass out drunk before your dad. No.
Nice.
Yeah, my dad always had this thing where he would introduce alcohol to the kids when they're like young, and he would always go with a whiskey because most kids, when they got a sip of that whiskey, it was like so harsh, so burning, they turned away from it and never tried to go for it again. But he always tells the story that I'm the youngest in the family. So after doing that successfully with all the other kids, and they never touched alcohol again until they're much older, he gave it to me when I was like 5 or so. I took a sip of it, thought it was the greatest thing ever, tried to walk away with the glass.
So, What was Alcoholics Anonymous like when you were sick? No, that's
You know,
fair.
you walked into school with your it was like show and tell day, and you walked in, your 6 week sober patch.
Oh my god, that sounds so bad. That
Who
sounds
needs Boy
so
Scouts
bad.
when you can earn badges?
Yeah.
AA.
And
This is-
yeah, I don't understand why you guys have it so rough. I don't think it's one of those things. If they do it, they'll never change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys
There's
have to deal with that forever.
Want to change it, but it's so ingrained. I don't think it's going to change.
Could you imagine? Let's say Biden. Okay, that's not kind of political, but if Biden was president next year, or if it was Trump, and they said, okay, we're going to lower the drinking age back down to 18, and or it's up to the states to decide now without penalty. Do you think anywhere would make it below 21?
Texas.
Well, Wisconsin actually does have if you're under 18 but in the presence of your parents, it's okay.
Okay, it's not too bad.
And so that's actually at restaurants and bars too, because
that's good. That's
when I was under 18, I was at Wisconsin bars occasionally or Wisconsin restaurants and would get like a glass of wine with dinner or what have you. But for the most part, I mean, we still have dry counties in America where alcohol is completely prohibited.
Yeah. It also
How does
depends
that work?
on.
Really?
You drive, mainly down in the South and in what we refer to as the Bible Belt. You can be driving along and all of a sudden there's like 10 liquor stores in a row. And like on the other side of the liquor store stop, and there's a little sign that says a county. I'm like, why are there so many liquor stores right here? And the person I was with was like, oh yeah, because right when you get to the other side of this sign, alcohol is forbidden.
Imagine
200
buying
dry
a house
counties.
in one of these places and not realizing.
Oh, could you imagine?
Yeah, I think it also depends heavily on the stance of the governor of each state. I know the state that we live in, our governor actually dealt with a lot of substance abuse, and so he stands on alcohol and marijuana and stuff like that is very strict on that, and so that's I think it would heavily depend. I think the states in the northern part of the country would more likely be okay with that, and I think
I
the
suppose
southern states are probably not.
North has always been more progressive in the United States. Always.
Yeah.
For progressiveness, it generally, you can look at a map. The more progressive areas is where the higher population density is. So even in our more conservative states, you can find these pockets of very progressive areas, and it's always because the population is so much higher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
They've never
why
really
that
figured
is,
out why that is, but we're probably not going to figure it out in this podcast, sadly.
Probably not. We're not going to solve all of America problems.
What's the story with marijuana? Is it legal or is it not legal?
It's not
Semi-legal.
Not in this state. It's semi-legal. Some states it's legal, other states are not. Federally, it's still considered a class 1 drug, so that's basically looped in with like cocaine and meth and all these other drugs that are like marijuana has no business being
which
grouped
basically
into.
prohibits any legitimate study or understanding of its impact on pretty much anything. But
exactly,
Minnesota
states, and you can study in other states.
Minnesota did legalize marijuana
medical
oils
CBD.
for medical use.
Cannabinoid oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or cannabidiol.
But then they also what referred to as decriminalized the use of actual, smoking marijuana, where if you get caught with it, you're not going to get arrested. You're not going to go to jail. The officer is going to write you a ticket, and you pay it off for like $100 or $200, something like that.
Citation or something like that. That's basically what it comes down to.
Misdemeanor citation.
Yeah.
And the cops have the discretion of simply saying, "Yeah, I'm not going to bother writing this ticket right now."
Right.
So it's been decriminalized. But the funny thing is if you get the medical marijuana license, the recreational marijuana suddenly becomes hyper criminalized in Minnesota.
What do you mean?
Meaning, if you get caught smoking recreational marijuana when you have a license to use the CBD oils and such, then you can go to prison.
Oh.
But if you don't have a medical excuse to use marijuana, it's only like a small fine.
Would that be something like if you did that, you'd be more eligible to try sell it? Like if I went to a different state with my card and got marijuana there and I tried to sell it in my own state.
Yeah, well, then you're crossing state lines, and then you get into a whole federal issue, and that's where you get into it's still being a class 1 drug, and you don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
And also what's interesting on that is also all sale of cannabis products is cash. All of it. You cannot, because banks cannot work with any kind of, virtual or, electronic funds or anything like that, because on a federal level it's still considered an illegal substance.
Right. And
so
all banks are federalized. So if they technically, if a bank were to give a legal marijuana seller, even a checking account to be able to process checks that are coming and going, then they can get in trouble with at the federal level for dealing in illegal drugs.
Right.
So they just don't touch it with 10-foot pole.
Yeah, it's really weird. And it's also very dangerous for the people who work in dispensaries, because they're often targeted for big robberies, because they walk out of the dispensaries with this big backpacks full of cash.
Yeah.
And they have to be really careful about going to the bank and depositing all of that. So it's risky. Some of them have actually hired private security because of how many people have been targeted for robberies and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not a fun situation to be in. Being robbed sucks.
But hey, just say no. I mean, they can't legally rob you without your permission, can they?
I know a guy in town, and he was kind of going for he tried to walk home kind of like a shady way, and in the end he got his watch, his T-shirt, and his shoes stolen. And his house was like 100 meters away.
Oh man.
I feel terrible for the guy.
Wow,
he didn't get any of it back, but that was like 2 years ago.
It's so shitty, man.
I mean,
that sucks.
That sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah.
Don't rob people.
Don't be a dick. It sucks.
Yeah. PSA, don't rob people.
Yeah, come on, PSA. If I want to bring my water onto the plane, don't be a dick. It cost me $2.50. I could have bought a can of Coke that cost $1. Come on. That's what you fucking get for being healthy. You get punished.
Right?
Yeah, why is water more expensive than Coke? Seriously.
That is actually a very good question. It's probably because of marketing and stuff like that.
Subsidies,
it is. It's like, oh, why the hell would I drink water if the Coke is like $1? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Coke, they're smart like that.
Remember, I could get like a budget cola for 75 cents in one of the local shops, but it cost €2 for water, and it was just mind-boggling when I was younger.
The thing that really gets me with Coke is the larger you get it in America, the cheaper it is.
Yep.
Really?
You can usually buy a 2-liter of Coke for less than you can buy a 500 milliliter bottle of Coke.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in the United States, everything was supersized, and I loved it.
Yes.
Oh man, have you seen the size of your McDonald's large to ours? Our large is your small. I'm not even kidding when I say that.
This is a large, Anna.
No, it's not. Jerry, will you come on now? Oh
No.
my god. Oh god, no. Oh god, no, the porn button. No.
This right here is a small.
A homework file. Show us that again.
Should I again?
Thomas gets out of that.
Sorry,
this is a small.
That would be a medium over here. That would be a comparison of a medium. That is scary.
Pretty big. Our smalls are really stout.
How many milliliters is in that? Is it 500 or is it 1 liter or what is it?
It's 20 ounces, which I think is about 500 milliliters.
I think that checks out. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that would be a medium over here.
And it kind of depends on the restaurant too, because some restaurants it's still medium, but more and more switching for that to be their small size. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole marketing technique of making like the large. I think it's usually over here. I know in the cinemas, it's like your medium will cost like a fiver. No, your small will cost a fiver, and that's for your popcorn drink and like say a chocolate bar or something. And then your medium will cost like €9, and then the large will be a tenner. It's those marketing techniques. And as soon as you see that, you're like, all right, well, I'll just spend the extra euro and buy the large. But
Yeah.
you're being conned
Well,
out.
it's only $1. It's only $1 to get the extra large popcorn and the extra large soda, and those ones come with free refills.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like,
I'll do that at the theater.
Get free refills? Fuck.
Yeah,
Only
we
on
got
the larges.
Yeah, but
Fuck,
only
I
in
don't know
the
in
large.
anywhere
theaters.
in Ireland that has
Yeah, there's
anywhere
no cinema in
restaurants,
Ireland does that.
anything that has free
Fuck.
refills.
I'm
except
going to the
my
cinema
gym.
tomorrow. I'm so pissed off now. But I'm not gonna go. Halfway through my film, I'm gonna be finished my Coke Zero, and suddenly I'm like, oh, I gotta go, go buy another one. Shit. Oh man, I'm
You
thinking
guys have
about
it so lucky. Also, all you can eat. We don't have any of
Well-
that. Well, we have one, as far as no,
We
we've
have
like
one all
four
you can eat.
in total in Ireland. And then I went to South Dakota, which is the middle of nowhere, number one. But
Which is not that far from us, so I'm
uh,
familiar with it.
the amount of all you can eats I went to, there's like one for every day. I had the weirdest shit on pizza. I'll tell you. Macaroni and cheese on pizza. Explain that one.
My kids love it.
Really?
I thought it was the weirdest thing when I first saw it, but yeah, especially my daughter. She thinks it's the greatest invention ever.
No, I'm not okay with that. Look, mac and cheese in a burger, now that's delicious. But on a pizza, no. I'm
How do you
gonna pass on
guys? How do you guys feel about freezing chocolate?
Fries and chocolate.
Fries and chocolate?
Freezing it. Sorry. Like freezing chocolate.
Oh yeah, like frozen chocolate bars. There's a candy bar in the States called Charleston Chew that when you freeze it, it becomes hard as rock,
Oh.
but somehow tastes like way better that way.
Oh,
Just
brilliant.
smash it against the table and breaks into little pieces.
Are you hearing this, Stuart?
That sounds like a curly whirly.
That is. I have a friend from London who works here in the States. He went back home, got me a curly whirly as a souvenir, and right as he returned is when everything shut down for the COVID-19.
Oh.
So there's a curly whirly sitting in the office for me that I just can't get to because I'm not allowed to go to the office right now.
Oh, that is torture. Because those things, man, Jesus. Especially when
There's
they're
something
frozen.
special.
Oh, beautiful.
Recommend
Put that
the-
shit in the freezer.
I should freeze it.
Oh, yeah.
I have very weird taste buds where I can't intertwine or combine sweet and salty. I have to have one or the other. Otherwise, my taste buds just go crazy and they're like, this is disgusting. I can't eat this.
Really? Damn.
So
Yeah.
So you never put the M&Ms over your popcorn at the theater?
Oh, no,
Oh.
that's gross. No,
Oh, you
thank
never
you.
No,
put, like,
that is great to do.
Oh, that is awesome. That is like the
No.
best thing about
Oh.
being in the cinema, bro. Shit. I feel
That
so
is-
bad
No.
for you.
No.
Speaking of
What's
cinemas,
the point in even going to the cinema if you're not doing that?
Yeah.
Are you guys able to go to the cinemas in Ireland right now?
I'm going tomorrow. It's going to be great.
He's crazy doing it. I'm not. I'm not doing that at all.
Wait, what are you seeing?
I think I'm seeing the new Bond film. I'm not sure yet, to be honest with you.
Wait, is the Bond film out in
It might be
Yeah,
the Bond film. To be honest, my
The
girlfriend
Bond
told
film
me,
is another
she-
one.
My girlfriend texted me and she was like, "We're going to see the Bond film," but I think she meant Tenet because the whole thing is like it's like Bond on acid. To be honest, I just go with it and I'll go there and we'll probably end up seeing probably not that, but hey. I'm looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah.
I think it is Tenet, and I'm looking forward to it because it actually looks very good.
We keep debating whether or not we're going to go back to the cinema to see Tenet for our Streaming Thoughts podcast.
No.
Yep, I'm still thinking about it. I know that our local, the company AMC Theaters that does theaters here for us. I've read up on a lot of the stuff that they're doing, and it seems good, question mark, but I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. So Christopher Nolan is my favorite director, and I've been so excited for Tenet for so long, and that's why it's such a difficult decision for me to make of whether I want to go see it in theaters or waiting for it to come on Blu-ray and watch it then.
Well, if you wear a mask, I don't know, wash your hands to bits, give yourself a shower when you get back before you go as well. You'll be fine. If it's your favorite director, you may as well.
Yeah.
Having a mask on and getting one piece of popcorn and like pulling it out.
Oh, I plan to like put my popcorn in the mask, and then I'm just like,
that would be a weird sight, Thomas.
Oh, I disagree.
Only feed a bag.
You know what? I might cut a hole and just like put a tube, and then just put the tube in the popcorn and connect it to my mouth. Yeah, like see now, Jared, if you cut it right around, you get it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or they have those like breathing things in masks now. Just like take that out and put it like like a straw in there.
Yeah, those. Yeah, just modify.
Yeah, there you go.
Stick a straw through that thing, and then you're good for the film. I'm looking forward to it. No.
Good luck is my only thing. Just good luck.
Thank you, Jared. We talk to a lot of
that. Sell it.
We talk to a lot of movie podcasts because we like movies. We're big movie guys. So
we talk about the actors too. So
you guys too? That's awesome.
But yeah, so we're gonna start with you, Mr. Nathan. What are your top 5 films?
Oh God.
Oh my God, top 5. Thank you for going.
Top 5 films.
Thank you for asking Nathan first.
Thanks
so
for putting me
Hold up, Nathan. Hold up.
Number 1
Never
is too
mind.
hard.
I changed my mind, Daniel. No.
Number 1 is too hard, but number 5, you can do it.
A lot of my favorite movies, I will jump in, and I always go for like certain cult classic movies. Like Highlander is always a enjoyable film for me to rewatch, but at the same time, I can recognize how cringy bad it is in a lot of ways. If it wasn't for the Queen soundtrack, I don't think anybody would have liked that movie.
Yeah, that's real bad.
And then then there's other classics. I mean, big Star Wars film. Probably my favorite of the series would be the Luke Skywalker trilogy, specifically A New Hope.
Yes.
It's a lot of people like Empire Strikes Back, but A New Hope has always been my favorite on that one. Back to the Future is always a classic time travel movie that I can watch over and over again. But the second and third one, I can only really watch those if I'm kind of doing a marathon of all 3.
Yeah, no, I get that. Do you not get annoyed? There's like a huge time paradox in the second one. Because when Biff goes back in time with the sports almanac and then travels back to the future, to his future, where it should have been the future where he was rich and famous. No?
Yep. Yeah, it's a big time trip paradox. And it's almost like he should know that everything he's done has already been undone by returning. But then at the same time, other people argue, like, well, you look at the original one, and his parents' initial kismet meet was interrupted. He was slowly fading from history. It took time for time to correct itself. So maybe that was what it was. There was no time delay for when they went back to their own past.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, don't look to Back to the Future for time travel rules. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Look, the Avengers didn't do it, right?
I mean,
yeah, it's just
they didn't even time travel. They didn't even want to go into time travel. They were like, all right, we'll just go to like alternate realities. But then that also clashes with like Captain America being in their universe at the end of it, doesn't it?
It does.
Because like he's not supposed to be there.
Nope.
Technically.
Technically, he shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, I mean, unless of course every version of Captain America always goes back and stays back.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. Yes. Yes. Excellent. Thank you. So we
Good
got
call.
Star Wars. We got Back to the Future. We got Highlander. What else we got?
Favorite Spider-Man is easily followed by Tobey Maguire.
Mm.
Andrew Garfield can just go into obscurity.
How dare you? How dare you, sir? Insult Andrew Garfield in such a way. I'm just kidding. I like those movies, but I mean,
I
either
don't
way.
like Andrew Garfield, but I just didn't like him as Spider-Man. What can I say?
I like Andrew Garfield. I think they completely fucked up the second movie by the end of it. Like,
Agreed.
I think maybe there would have been
Right.
a third one if they had kept his girlfriend alive. I don't know. It's very dark for a 12s film.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I know that in the comics, Gwen
That-
Stacy died.
Really?
that's a very famous death in the comics.
Yeah, it's a very
but
famous one. Yeah.
At the same time, it's kind of a lost.
Yeah.
It's a lost element that I don't think anyone was really expecting or
Yeah. Nobody
was prepared to deal with.
There's a
Mm.
deleted scene in the second movie, by the way, that is incredibly emotional and really shows the acting skills of Andrew Garfield. And they completely removed that from film, which I have no idea why they did that, because it was so powerful and so great, and I was so mad that they removed it.
I think I've seen. What exactly is it? I
It's-
think I remember seeing it though.
When Peter actually gets to meet his father, and his father has to explain where he's been and all of this stuff, and it's really emotional, really great.
Shit.
You know, that
Yeah.
might have actually made the film better.
It might have
It
actually.
would've.
Because that whole subplot with his father having a top secret under the subway base that feeds up from subway tokens, I was just like, where are they? Where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. It would. Yeah. No, it would have made a lot more sense actually. If they'd introduced his father. It sounds a bit like the Truman Show. Do you know what I mean? When they like
Yeah.
introduce his dad, it's like, all right, we're gonna introduce his father now. I was like, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Sam, so which Spider-Man did you say then? Was it the
The
second
first
one?
one.
The first one?
Tom Holland was my favorite because generally I thought Tobey Maguire was a really good Peter Parker,
Mm.
but he didn't really have that snappiness as Spider-Man of what I expect from the comics.
Mhm.
And Tom Holland kind of captures both aspects of that.
Really well.
He
Very,
does.
very well.
He plays a great Spider-Man actually. Mm. I like it. I like it. Good choice.
Yeah,
good
he does
choice.
a good job.
No, he plays the part well actually, and I really hated the whole thing after Far From Home, where Sony and Marvel were like, pulling out.
Oh,
each
that
other's
little
hearts.
scare.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
a
like
little scare we got.
that was.
Did
just
you hear?
cruel.
Did you hear that got solved after Tom Holland drunk dialed
Yes.
Marvel and Sony executives?
Yes, I did actually. Truly the hero we don't deserve, but hey,
Well,
he's a
what
That
great
was
did
guy.
he
my
say?
favorite turnout.
Did you ever see that interview he did where he was telling them how he went to like an American high school and he ended up telling some girl that he was Spider-Man?
Yes. I
Brilliant.
saw that in an interview. It was great. No one believed him, obviously.
I thought that was brilliant. It was so funny.
Yeah.
He is so notorious for leaking spoilers about his films. I actually thought it would have been funny after Endgame when he was behind some stage at a Comic-Con or something, and he was showing up how he was just given the script for Far From Home.
Mm.
And this was before Endgame, but after Infinity War. We know what happened to him in Infinity War. We don't know what's happening in Endgame. And I always thought it would have been funny if like they gave him a fake script that was all about Miles Morales,
Oh,
and Peter Parker's not listed at all.
that would have been cruel. Oh shit. Because Miles Morales is like in that universe because isn't Donald Glover plays his uncle, right? He plays
Yes.
Yes.
The Prowler, yeah.
He plays the Prowler, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
That's gonna be awesome, Oh shit, what's the name of it? Into the Spider-Verse. It's gonna be a real Marvel thing. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the sequel is going to be great.
Oh yeah. Ah,
So is that 4 movies or 5? Did we get to 5?
that was definitely
I don't
4. It's definitely 4, sir. Come on
That was
now.
4.
Stop playing with us.
Another one of my top movies on the spot. Man, I'm drawing a blank on see, it's one of those things, like there's all those movies that you really love, but which ones do you rank as your top picks?
Godfather, The Shawshank Redemption, The
Well, I mean,
Lighthouse, Parasite.
Shawshank Redemption is a great movie. It's an excellent film as far as studying well-written story and screenplay and such. But I wouldn't really list it as a movie that I keep going back to, though.
Well, here's Jared's top 5 list right here. And in all places, of course, is Norbit. Starring Eddie Murphy as himself, his wife, his dad, and his dog. I shit you not. Look up the casting. It's real.
Yeah, and Eddie Murphy went through that weird phase where he was playing everything.
He
like-
played an old
Did-
Asian guy in this. I feel
Yeah,
that's
there
gonna
he is.
bite him in the
That's
ass
him right
one
there.
day. Yeah, that's him.
Well, that's
Gonna bite him in
problematic
the
in
ass
People
one
just-
day.
so many different ways.
It was like, did people just
It's funny,
stop
though.
wanting to work with Eddie Murphy for some reason? Is that why he had to play all the different characters?
They tried to hire, an entire cast, and they were like, we can't find anyone. Eddie, you're gonna have to play all the characters.
Nick Cage went through a similar phase in the 90s where he was just kept saying yes to everything.
Yeah, he did actually.
I
We're
think
talking
Cocaine,
something
man.
else
Did
about
that
that.
ever
Cocaine.
end? He says yes to everything still.
That's true.
Nick Cage is in
Oh, there
14
you go.
awesome
I'll
movies
throw-
and then 140 other ones that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
I'll throw Nick Cage's vampire movie. Was it First Bite or Just Bitten?
Mm.
What was the name of that one?
Oh, I've
Gotta
no
see
idea.
now.
It's
I'm
just
on
bitten or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
I
I think
can't
it's
remember
just-
of it. Yeah. I know which one you're talking about though.
Right?
I've never heard of that.
Type that into your Google link. Just Bitten. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. It's such a cult classic, and it's Nick Cage, and it's so great.
85, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. That's it. Once Bitten.
Once bitten.
Oh,
Okay.
once bitten. All right.
It's this really cringy Nick Cage being Nick Cage, where he gets. No, that might not be the right one.
That's Jim Carrey, isn't
That's
it?
Yeah,
Jim.
I was
Yeah,
starting
yeah,
to
yeah.
wonder,
I was
like-
gonna say.
That one's Jim Carrey. Might be
Yeah.
Vampire
You got it now.
Kiss.
Hold up.
That's it. That's the one. Vampire's Kiss.
Kiss.
Vampire's Kiss. There we
So
go.
that's where that face came from.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's where that
Sorry.
meme came from.
I'm getting my bad vampire movies mixed up. My wife and I love watching bad vampire movies, and that's probably one of the best ones because he's going through this psychological break, and the whole time the audience is just sitting there going is he actually a vampire or is he just insane? And it has the classic Nick Cage just being insane.
There you go. That's your number 5. Vampire's Kiss.
I will throw that one up. If you're a fan of Nick Cage, you have to watch Vampire's Kiss.
I actually watched I watched Dinner for the Schmucks yesterday because it came on Irish Netflix with Steve Carell and Paul Rudd, and I can never remember his last name. Zach, is it Galifianakis or
Galifianakis.
Galifianakis? And then I realized it's the movie where the meme for Zach and I were laughing hysterically is from.
Oh, nice.
I never realized that. It's a great film.
That's awesome.
Anyway, coming to you, Mr. Daniel. Ooh,
Yes,
you've had plenty of time to think about this now.
I have. I'm ready. All right, so I'm going to cheat because I always consider this to be one movie, even though it's technically 3, and that's Lord of the Rings. That's my all-time favorite movie. I consider
I'll
that
allow
one movie because it's one story being told across 3 films.
I'll allow it.
So again, all-time favorite. I own
Now,
several
is
stuff
that the
Lord of the Rings
extended
related.
version or the theatrical release there?
I don't know what the theatrical release version looks like now. It's erased from my memory. I've seen it. I've seen the extended edition so many times that if you told me this is an extended edition scene, I wouldn't be able to tell you if it is or not, because it is now etched in my memory as being the official version in my brain, which I'm so thankful for. Yeah. I'm obsessed. I mean, I've been obsessed with it ever since it came out. And I own like the soundtrack. Like I bought like a special edition of the soundtrack too, and I can even tell you the scene that's playing based on the sound, the timing of the soundtrack too. I'm that nerdy about that movie. So that's number one. Inception. That's my second pick.
Nice.
I think that's the movie that really made me fall in love with. That's like cemented that love for Nolan. After the Dark Knight came out, I was just like, man, this guy is great. And then Inception came out, and I was like, wait, this is what you do out of your own mind, and this is what the properties that you make without having to rely on already existing properties to make films out of. Yeah, I love everything about this. And Christopher Nolan also has gone on record saying that he despises 3D technology, but if there was ever a movie he wanted to do 3D for, was Inception. Because I think it would have been really trippy to have all. I mean, because there's so much depth perception in that movie already, with like, city streets just folding over you and like all of this stuff.
Oh, that would be mad.
I think it would have been awesome. I'm also very deeply against 3D technology for films. I think it's overused and it just doesn't work. I'm glad that whole phase is over. Yeah, because I think that the only movies where it really worked well was in Avatar, and I haven't seen any other movie that has done it as well as Avatar did.
Do you guys remember when the fourth Spy Kids came out and they used the 4D stuff? Yeah. And they had like the smell of like a diaper or something. I can't remember what it was, but Jesus, like they overplayed it with that shit. Same with like
I never watched one into one of those 4D theaters.
Oh, it was. There's one now in Untitled Park, which is like our big amusement park in Ireland. There's like a 4D one, and usually it's like only like a 5-minute clip of Yogi Bear trying to kill a park ranger. I don't know. Gets really graphic. Oh, I'm not sure, but hey. But there's like a 4D cinema in there, and like the next one I think I know of is in Cadbury in England, but otherwise they didn't really last long. No.
No, I'm glad that whole phase is over. I mean, it really diminished the quality of film in my mind, and I mean, it's fine if you convert it to 3D, because then you have a choice between seeing it in 2D or 3D, and I always picked the 3D. Actually, I take that back. The only other movie where I thoroughly enjoyed 3D was Ready Player One. I actually enjoyed the 3D experience in that movie. Yeah.
That was a really good film, actually.
It was great. I loved it. Which one?
I'm asking Jared if he saw Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah.
I did. I seen it when I was in Germany.
Did you enjoy it?
I didn't understand German.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
It looked cool. It looked awesome. I love VR, so I'd love to see if one day we can get to that point. Not with the whole evil thing, but Dan
and I were just talking about that in our after hours about the advent of VR technology, and what were we thinking, like 40 years for Ready Player One style?
Yeah, I'm thinking 30 years before we get to Ready Player One.
Oh, okay, makes sense. I like
it.
Yeah,
a lot of the technology is kind of here. We got the Valve Index. We've got suits. We've got suits, and like, if you get shot, you can feel not like you've been shot, but you can feel like you've been hit by something. There's omnidirectional treadmills. Mm-hmm. We're getting there.
Yeah, I think we're getting there.
But how expensive is it to get a full setup like that?
Everything I just said.
How many games are available for that investment?
Well,
that would actually utilize all those technologies. That's the problem we're at.
VR chat would probably be the only one. I know for cheap body tracking, you can use the Xbox Kinect.
Yeah, you can.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's there. It's just the experience that I've gotten so far with VR hasn't been to my satisfaction.
Same
I
here.
can still see the the pixels and the screen door effect and all that stuff, which to me it's still distracting. And so I'm waiting until that is resolved or improved upon, and we don't have to experience that anymore. And that's when I will jump into it. I have a pretty powerful gaming rig, so I'm just like waiting for this like stuff that I think it's just an engineering problem at this point, right? It's just it'll get fixed.
Yeah,
It's just time.
And my problem is like you have all these really huge, big, bulky headsets for VR setups, and it's like all the technology plus a computer and a processor that's in those big, huge, bulky headsets are in these tiny little phones that fit in our pocket. So why are the headsets still so big? That's the part that kind of bugs me about VR right now.
Well, I think a
It
lot of
just
this.
feels like it should be smaller than it is.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of technology in those headsets. I mean, like I was telling you, there's a lot of cameras and sensors built in so that you don't accidentally run into a wall. I mean, at least the more expensive headsets at least have all that technology built
Guys,
in.
I'm gonna have to go. But Thomas is gonna keep going with you for a few minutes. I want to say it was a pleasure talking to you guys. Sorry I
Yeah.
have to go.
No,
so
you're
fast.
good.
Yeah,
Um,
nice meeting you.
Yeah,
have a great day,
meeting you.
and
Yeah.
Thomas, keep them entertained.
Oh, I plan to keep this very entertaining. Here comes the PG-13 rating of the podcast. People under 14, look away. So,
So wait,
no.
so I'm at what number 2, right?
You're at number 2, correct?
I'm number 2. All right. So number 3, I want to say The Martian.
Oh
As
yes.
far as
Come
number
on.
3.
I got the two guys to watch The Martian a couple of weeks ago because I watched it with my dad and we loved it, and oh, it is so good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I've been obsessed with that movie for the last few months. I mean, I've seen it a couple times, and then something clicked in my brain that I just went, this movie is incredible and amazing,
right?
and the story is great. I just actually finished listening to the book, and so it just that whole story is so amazing. And I think what I like it is the fact that there is no villains, there are no heroes. It's just people solving problems and using science and stuff like that. And that to me is just like really hits me in my nerdy heart so hard that I just go
Some
crazy
would
about
say that Jessica Chastain is kind of the villain for leaving Matt Damon.
it. Second time she plays a villain.
There you go.
Oh, I love.
Now,
I
Dan,
love
how can you have not mentioned John Wick yet? Because
Oh,
we cannot go
Oh.
through a recording session without you bringing up John Wick somehow.
Yeah, no, I think John Wick is definitely my number 4 film. In terms of the action genre, John Wick just like introduced this whole new breath of life into the action genre that I just went crazy for it. And not to mention, it's Keanu Reeves. Who does not love Keanu Reeves?
Oh, he's
Come
delicious.
on. He is a treasure of the planet. And I'm so glad that I get to live in a time when Keanu Reeves is alive.
Have you guys seen Bill and Ted 3 yet?
No, not yet. I plan on
not
that
yet.
though.
I've seen it. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
It made me cry. I'll be honest with you. It's the ending. Oh, it just stays with you and it'll stay with me. It's
That's
so
so
good.
great. That's awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
Me and Dara, I would say maybe a year ago, because Dara had already seen them, but he was like, all right, we got to watch these films called Bill and Ted, because he was introducing me to the whole stoner genre. So I mean, we watched the first 2 Bill and Teds, and then we also watched Dude, Where's My Car in like the same night.
Nice.
And then recently I
Yeah,
watched,
those kind of go together.
and then I watched the first 2 Harold and Kumars,
Mhm.
and I watched, if he watches this, he's gonna give out to me. Fuck, what's the name of it? It's the one with the guy who plays Shrek.
Michael Myers.
Michael
Yes.
Myers. Yeah,
What
yeah.
stoner film is he in? Shit. Oh, he's gonna kill me.
So
my
I married
God.
an ex-murderer.
No,
Is
it's
pretty.
no.
Oh, you're thinking the spy ones, aren't you?
No, not
Austin
Austin Powers. No, the one where he's a stoner and he's in a basement and has a show. I
Oh,
can't
Wayne's
think.
World.
Yes.
Yeah.
World.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also.
Sorry,
we
I'm
also-
like, it's like what level of Mike Myers are we going for? What?
Yeah.
He said
Level
so
of
many
affection.
different.
Which
He said so many
era?
different types of comedies. Like, what era are you looking for?
Yeah.
No,
For
yeah,
sure.
I'm watching all the stoner films. I say at the moment. I mean, I need to watch the last like Harold and Kumar Christmas special, and I need to watch the rest of the. Oh my God, I'm after forgetting it again. Wayne's Worlds.
Wayne's World. Yeah.
So we got
Yeah.
your.
Most of that stoner genre started with Cheech and Chong. Have you gone into any of their
That's
work
true.
yet?
No. No.
Definitely
Is
check out
it-
the origins of
They were
that.
like the fathers of
Cheech and
the stoner
Chong?
genre.
Never heard of them. Shit. How do you spell them now?
Cheech. I think I want to say.
Oh,
There
Hey.
it is.
you know, I must give these guys a watch. Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are old
Early
school.
80s.
Way back. Yeah.
Just coming out of the 70s when, pretty much everyone was realizing that pot was funny and no one knew if you smoked it or not.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 out of the way, Daniel.
4. So the number 5, and I mean, I guess this one kind of falls at the last, but I don't think is by any means last on the list. The Matrix.
Oh yeah.
I think The Matrix was definitely one of those. I think for me as a young individual, when I watched The Matrix, that movie blew my mind. And I was like 12 or 11 or something when I watched it. And it was just like, I can't believe that movies can be this, can be, difficult to understand and follow, because I was 12 at the time. I couldn't really follow the whole thing, but also like have this really deep philosophical aspects to it, and also have incredible action sequences.
Yeah.
And special effects and all that stuff. Like before that, the next movie that kind of approached that level was Jurassic Park, in my mind. And so, before Jurassic Park, there wasn't really anything that really grabbed the imagination of at least my generation besides Jurassic Park. And then The Matrix came out, and it just redefined what it meant to do the action genre. And the Wachowskis are just incredible people too.
A funny story about The Matrix. I wanted to get into doing this podcast partly because when I was growing up, my mom was a movie critic, and one of the things was I'd often go with her to movies in advanced screenings and talk to her about them on the way. That conversation is always the most interesting. That's why I wanted to kind of capture that feel. But when we went to see The Matrix, the film reel broke literally right after Neo gets shot and falls to the ground dead.
Oh,
and they were waiting around the lobby. I'm like, we're not able to fix the film. We have to order a new copy. We won't be able to do this.
That is
So that was
terrible.
when I first saw the movie. That's how it ended for me.
Shit, man.
Oh man, ruined.
Actually, I have an experience like that. When me and our other co-host Dara, who couldn't be here today, we went to go see Captain Marvel. Now, I had already seen Captain Marvel, but Dara had not. We went to our local cinema, and halfway through the film, right as you get to the part where she figures out that the Kree have been lying to her the whole time, the sound stopped working.
No.
And next thing we know, the lights turn on in the cinema, and then we were just told to get out. It was horrible. It was horrible. And he was watching it all with no sound, and I felt so bad for him. Because if there's one movie or one franchise you don't want that shit to happen to, it's in Marvel.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, Marvel movies are such a popcorn amazing experience that, and that's why. So when I rank Avenger movies, like Infinity War is my favorite Avenger movie for sure. In terms of like the best villain, the best story, the best everything. Infinity War is like just right up there. Endgame, I almost don't consider it I almost don't consider it a film. It's more like this event that I was just happened to be there. like your favorite bands all got together and played this incredible concert, and I just like was there for it.
Brilliant. Yeah. I remember being at opening night here, and the last half hour, we were in fucking roars. Like we were all, or like the very start of it, like the very start of it where they killed Thanos, everyone was just like fucking this massive gas.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it is so cool being in a cinema for opening night with like all these,
yes,
because like you're as devoted as everyone else here. You, like we all
right.
waited a year. If I ever have kids, I'm gonna make them wait a year. You know what I mean?
It's like, oh yeah, no, all the Avengers are dead. Sorry, that's it.
And
What?
out.
That's it. You know, I could just Google
Can't
it.
find
I'm
out
gonna
what
look it
happened.
up on YouTube. No, 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 no. Give me your phone for a year.
So I saw Endgame at like 2 in the morning or
Oh,
1:30 in the
respect.
morning,
Yeah,
and it was just one of those situations where I was like, it's gonna be great because it's like so late at night that there's not gonna be screaming kids or kids that are just gonna be like just going crazy about the movie, which again, like it's totally fine. I'm just don't like being present when that's happening, and so. And so we knew that all the people who were going to be there are going to be like the super nerds who don't care what time of day it is. You just want to watch Avengers. And I had like a handkerchief ready on my hand to just like, kind of wipe my tears and my snot and all that. I was like ready, and immediately as soon as the Marvel flickering of the thing, I started to get teary eyed. I'm like, the movie hasn't even started, and I'm already crying. This is such an emotional movie for me, and I would always remember that. And I wish I could just go back and relive it, but
the one emotional event in Endgame that I cannot recapture because I've rewatched it a couple times. It doesn't hit me the same way. But when I was first watching this movie, they're making their time heist plans and they're going about anything about how they're getting the stones. Then all of a sudden, Black Widow and Hawkeye get in the ship to take off for Boromir to get the Soul Stone. And at that moment, I like grabbed my wife's hand. I was like, "Oh no!" This is like completely deer in headlight shocks. I'm like, I didn't think about the implications of this. Who are we saying goodbye to?
yeah.
I was.
Well, I don't know if you guys watch. I think it's Screen Rant who made this theory. I heard a theory, but in the Black Widow trailer, there's a thing, and I know you guys can appreciate it because you're movie guys. I like that. But there's this thing, and in one of the scenes, Black Widow or one of her sisters has this thing on her face, and it's a mask, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's well known that Black Widow's sister used to switch faces with her a lot in the comics.
Yep.
So, yeah, people think, and her sister had blonde hair. So
Yeah, there's a theory that's going around about since after Captain America Civil War and she goes into hiding, the Black Widow that we know
it's not
suddenly
blonde.
has blonde hair, is not redhead anymore. And so the theory is going around that was actually her sister in Infinity War and Endgame that was carrying on the the portrayal of Black Widow, and they're going to do a reveal in the Black Widow movie that it is when they did the switch, as it were.
I don't like that. Because so generally I like when comic book movies have real consequences to them, right? And that's typically one of the criticisms about comic book movies is that there are no real consequences, like everything can just be undone or whatever. And also I feel like if that were the case, that kind of diminishes the performance of Natasha or excuse me, Scarlett Johansson in the movie. I don't know. I feel like if that were the case, if they do a whole switch, like it was me the whole time, I'm alive, and all that. I feel like that would kind of take away from that movie, and I wouldn't want that. I want there to be a real consequences that people died, and and that was it. Because that was my main problem with the last Star Wars movie, Rise of Skywalker, is that there were no consequences at all. Everyone just
come on.
That.
Gravity never kills anybody in Star Wars.
I hate it.
There is one character that has fallen down a chasm or a pit and has so far not come back in any Star Wars canon or legend, and that's Mace Windu. And that's only a matter of time because, Samuel Jackson, if they ask him to come back as Mace Windu, he's going to say yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, gravity doesn't kill people in Star Wars.
I think doing that and bringing back the Empire, it completely diminishes, Empire Strikes Back. Like, or which, I probably got that wrong. Please tell me that's the sixth one. I always get confused on the titles.
Return of the Jedi is the
Return
sixth
of
one.
the-
Empire
yeah.
Strikes.
Yes,
was,
my bad. Please, Star Wars fans, I love you guys. Come on, don't be dicks. But it completely diminishes Vader and Luke in the sixth one. Like them, like, oh yeah, we're gonna be best friends now, and team up and kill this dude. It's like kind of
the
insane.
problem with Rise of Skywalker is it just felt like a committee written. It was a committee film that was written by fan rage on the internet.
Oh
Yeah.
Because
Nathan and I stand very firmly on the. We stand very firmly on our love for the second film. What was it called again? The Last Jedi. Is it the Last
Yeah,
Jedi?
the Last
The
Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Yeah, I really like Andrew, or is it Ryan Johnson? I think is the director. I really like his style of directing, and I really like the way that movie was written. And Nathan and I stand for our love of that second film, and we really were excited about the direction of Star Wars after that second movie. And then everyone was like, "We don't want new stuff. We want new stuff but old stuff. We want you to like do this again but not in the exact same way." And then we got the Rise of Skywalker, which I saw was just such milquetoast Star Wars that it was just a huge
Terrible.
disappointment.
It's horrible. It's like they
And
saw
let's be honest,
Avengers.
it shouldn't be Rise as Skywalker. It shouldn't be Rise. What was it? Rise of Skywalker. It should
Yeah.
be Rise as Skywalker.
Mm.
They need to rename
Yeah.
that.
And
It
actually,
should be The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi to Rise as Skywalker. That's the way the Rey trilogy goes.
right. Fun fact: Nathan and I, back when way before they announced the title of the film, one of our top picks was Rise of something, and for the title of the last Star Wars movie. And then when it came out, I'm like, we called it. We called Rise of something. I knew they were gonna use that title.
It's like they saw Avengers and like, hey, I like that, like, on your left thing, but like, let's not say that, and like, I am the Iron Man thing, but let's not say that.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, and as soon as Lando had all like the people, I was like, oh, that feels a bit like Portals. And then Ray at the end with the Empire, and like, oh, that feels a bit like the end of of Endgame.
Yeah.
It was too similar.
Yeah.
And it's too similar. I don't know what it was. I don't know what they were doing because they're both like run by Disney, so I'm presumed they had like some say in what happened because they usually do. But
Mhm.
I don't know. It felt a bit. If it worked for Avengers, it might work for this kind of thing.
Yeah. Again,
And I've
just my
always had
over-
a problem with J.J. Abrams too, because he has like
Yes.
no respect for time.
Yep.
Mm.
We joke about that all the time on our podcast.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Lando Calrissian has to travel around the galaxy to get everyone together. Oh, that doesn't take any time at all. I mean, you just snap your fingers and you've got to every corner, send out your message, and everyone jumps on the ships and follows you through. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
We
It's
talk
like
about how like you have 24 hours to defuse this bomb. Okay, great. Let me go to Paris so I can learn about this thing and talk to this expert, and then go to Germany to talk to this other expert. Don't worry, only 2 hours have gone by. And then it's like this whole time perception that J.J. Abrams operates from is like non-existent. Basically, it's just this 1 minute equals 1 hour for J.J. Abrams.
And 1 hour equals 1 minute. It's just
Yeah.
time is a inconvenience to J.J. Abrams plots.
You must be a really big fan of 24.
Yeah.
I think also who like tends to like rush shit is D&D, Game of Thrones directors. They just don't care. They clearly didn't care. I mean, 6 episodes in the last season, which was, which every other season had 10 episodes. Like, it was so
The
all right.
first early seasons had a real sense of time and travel,
They did.
right? And then the last season is just like, well, they need to be here, they need to be there.
So, remember that dude we've been hyping up since, episode 1? Let's kill him off. Like, not even as the final villain. Let's just kill him off.
Yep.
So, it's such a stupid decision. Because it literally was one battle, and it was won straight away. No, like, the characters didn't learn anything. There was no development. Jon Snow
Right.
didn't even become the fucking king. What's the point?
No penalty,
No,
no
right.
loss, no cost for winning.
Right.
And I honestly, I kind of got the sense, because obviously George R. R. Martin hasn't written the final book yet.
Yes.
Right.
I kind of got the sense that they went to him and say, "How does this end?" And he's like, "Oh well, the king of
General
the
idea.
Ice Walkers are dead. The Cersei dies, and the Three-Eyed Raven becomes the new king on the throne." And they're like, "Well, crap. How do we get that onto our last season?"
Yeah.
Let's just
That sounds
let's
like
just say
a
it happened.
whole. That sounds like we need 2 more seasons to get that done before the final,
They really
season.
shouldn't
So
have actually like done the last season or done. They should have stopped where he had stopped writing the books. I mean,
Yeah.
like it is literally his story, and they just kind of fucked it up. I mean, what if like they'd done that with Harry Potter without like J.K. Rowling finishing the last book?
right.
I mean, do you know what I mean? It's I don't want to say it's disrespectful, but it's definitely like not what they should have done.
No, yeah, and I think again, it just goes back to the whole, the whole there are no consequences type of thing, right? When it comes down to these writings and how, there are some, like for example, Stranger Things is a great, it's a great, it's a great show that really encompasses that whole, like there are consequences to, and every season is just you get a different feel, like things are not the same anymore, things are different now, and I really like that about that show. And I feel like not very many shows do that, where they're really willing to be courageous and say, no, we're gonna make changes, and you might not like them at first, but later on you're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is great, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, makes sense. I like that. Yeah, Stranger Things is a great show, and it has a really,
Brilliant show.
really great cast as well. Actually,
Oh yeah.
we were just talking
Yeah.
about how bad the last season of Game of Thrones was, Jared.
Yeah, I just came back for anyone who's listening.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And then some shows just need to let go and end it when it's the right time to end it. Like as you said, maybe they should have just ended it when they caught up to the books. Because another one I can think of is Supernatural. The first
Walking Dead.
5 seasons were one story arc that was nice and overarching, and all of a sudden it's like, keep going past 5 seasons. Okay, here resolved. Oh, you want another season? Okay, here's a bigger thread. We have to have it resolved. And it just starts to drag on after a while. Now they're on like season 15, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
No,
you should have ended this like 5 seasons ago.
I think 7 seasons is the maximum amount of seasons any TV show should go on for, and that's my benchmark. If you're passing after 7 seasons, season 8, that's 8 years of TV. I'm kind of done with you.
You must hate
That's
soap
great.
operas. You must like fucking hate soap operas, bro. Because
I don't. Yeah, no.
How long has that shit been going on?
Soap opera has been
Not
on for
me.
like 50 years.
Yep.
Still going,
Yeah, or the Simpsons. It's one of the reasons why I don't really watch the Simpsons. Also, because it's like, oh my god, there's so much to watch. I can't buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
I get that.
See, I think it's just a mentality of American Hollywood too, where it's like, if you're making a show and you don't get renewed, that's like viewing themselves as a failure. If you go to a lot of, like, say, Japanese or Korean dramas, they say, here's our show. We're going to just tell it in 1 season. And if those get renewed for a second season, then you're like...
Yeah, it's great. It's good when they get renewed, and it's also... But again, so, I mean, for me, TV shows... you have so much more freedom to tell stories, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about the Disney Plus Marvel shows, is because we're gonna get just more basically like 8-hour long movies, and where you have this story that's self-contained in this one particular season, and there isn't like, I don't expect there to be another WandaVision show like season 2. You know what I mean? Like I expect other stories to be told. But again, I'm excited for that because the format that TV gives you it does give you that freedom to tell this really cool self-contained stories over a longer period of time. Again, Stranger Things does that really well, where there's a story to tell in this season, and we're going to tell it, and it's going to go over the next 8 hours or whatever. And when you do it in that format, I think it works really, really well. Because again, like I feel like if you're writing a TV show, you need to write it with the sense that like this could be canceled at any time, and if it's canceled at any time, then you need to write
You
it in a
should still
way.
have a satisfying end.
Yes, exactly. Where if this ends right now, I'm perfectly fine with it.
Unlike Stargate.
Stargate, oh,
Universe ended in a half Stargate Universe ended on like a half season where they're like, okay, we are going to go all into stasis, leaving one person awake who's probably going to have to self-sacrifice and die alone in the cold darkness of space. But come back for cliffhanger. Come back for the second half of the season. No, wait, actually, we're canceled. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how the show ends. Everybody dies.
Yeah, no, a lot of shows just like missed the. We could have ended it there, and it would have like been good and just keep on going. But in regards to Game of Thrones, it's like we should have gone on longer, or that like I think it would have been better if they stopped it where the books stopped. I mean, we wouldn't have had the ending, but we probably would have had a better ending then.
You know, it could have come
Or
back.
take a hiatus.
Yeah.
Take a hiatus until you can know exactly how the books end and write like a movie finale of it or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And it works. I mean, it's worked in the past. I know Sense8, for example, was one of those shows that got canceled by Netflix, and then the Wachowskis, the Wachowskis were very instrumental in making that show a reality. And then fans were all over the world were like, "What? You're canceling this? How dare you?" And then the outcry was so big that Netflix was like, "Okay, fine, you can come back and do a whole movie, style episode, and here's a bunch of money, make it happen." And they did it, and it worked. I mean, it wasn't quite the satisfying ending that I wanted it, because obviously this is better than, but it's better than nothing. And I think that I think that if Game of Thrones approached it in that direction of making sure that we still got something that was much closer to the source, rather than this is my ideas of how this story is going to end, and then base the whole season out of ideas rather than actual content.
Yeah, that would be much better, actually. Yeah, 100%.
We've had some people on from Game of Thrones.
We've had
Nice.
let's see, we've had Greatest Swordman in Westeros. Zero Farrell. We've had Ross Mullen. Ross Mullen would have been the very first White Walker that Samwell meets along his journeys, the one who just like stares him on the horse. And then we had Ian White on. He would have played one of the mountains, because there's been 3 of them, and he also played like one, the giant. Yeah.
And he played various White Walkers.
Yeah.
That's
he
awesome.
actually played the first White Walker in season 1, episode 1, who gets the guy executed because he runs away. He plays one of those White Walkers. It's pretty cool. He's like 7 foot.
Wow.
He's tall as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's awesome. I love Ian. He's such a cool guy. Guys, I want to thank you guys for coming on. You've been great.
Oh, thank you.
It's been fun.
Pleasure.
It's been fun.
Would you guys mind plugging your podcast for everyone?
Yeah, we're Streaming Thoughts Podcast. You want to say the plug line, or?
Yeah, you can find us.
Plug line.
You can find us on Facebook at
Streaming Thoughts Podcast, and on Twitter at
Streaming Geek. And you can find us on all major platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that stuff. We're there. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. You guys have been
Pleasure,
great.
guys.
Thank you
Have a
guys
great
for
day.
coming on. You take her handy.
Thank you
Good luck,
for having
and
us on.
stay safe.
Yeah, thank you. You guys too.
Cheers.
Take care.
Take it handy.
Thank you for listening.